Yay, thank you guys for joining. I'm just waiting for Lena to pop in. So give me one sec. That's just been giving me trouble all day. But welcome to another episode of Everything is Fine. We're waiting for Lena to show up. She promised me she'll be here, so she better be here this time. So give me a second because we've had such a hard time trying to connect before. So hey guys, thank you for tuning in. I'm just waiting for Lena, so give me a sec. This is always the most annoying thing. I don't know how to work live. It's always so confusing. So as soon as she's ready to pop in, I hope you're in our live, Lena. What the hell? I don't even see her. So thanks guys. We're just waiting for Lena. I always feel like a jackass trying to just talking to myself right now. Come on, Lena. Where are you? Come on. Get the fuck in here. Oh, God. Yay!
I am here.
We got
I'm
her.
here. I got the bead.
Woo!
Okay. I'm here. Hi.
Yeah, we're in New York time. That's funny. That's for sure. Welcome to another episode. I'm so happy you
Let me
made
pause the
it.
music.
Thank you so much. I love you. I love seeing your face, and thank you so much for doing this. So another episode. So this is our bonus episode. Thank everybody for tuning in. We got a lot of people in here today. I'm grateful. So we're just gonna start right off with our intro. So Lena,
Okay.
you go first this time.
Sure.
Tell a little bit about
Before
yourself.
anything, I would like to apologize to everyone and yourself for not being able to get on our last episode. I was in a bad place, and that energy I didn't want to portray on people and yourself, and I needed to take a step back. But I'm so grateful for you that I know you were going through your own thing, but you still stuck it out. You had something that you said that you were going to do, and you did it, and you showed up, and you showed your rawest, truest fucking emotion, and I felt every ounce of what you were going through. So I'm grateful for you.
I was not expecting to
That's
cry
real.
at the
That's
end,
truth.
so
That's
that was a
real.
little weird. Uh, yeah. Also, I love that you apologize, but don't apologize because you also needed that self-care moment, and I understood that.
I
So
love you
I
too.
love you so much, and I'm grateful that we can do these mental health
Yeah.
checks even when we're going through stuff, where we can like pick up the pieces, even if it takes a moment. So I'm so
Yeah.
grateful that you're here now. We have to talk about. This episode is all about
Get your tissues,
forgiveness.
people. Get your
So
tissues.
forgiving ourselves.
Because there's a lot of issues and tissues here.
Where's mine? I got mine
Jen
right
made
here.
it. Hey, Jen. I saw a couple of people. Senya, freaking Jen, Roxanne, Diana.
There's so many
Okay.
right
Okay. I
now.
could keep going, but.
Uh, so let's go with this. The intros. I want you to go first. Just a little bit by yourself, and
Okay.
then I'll go
So,
next.
if everybody doesn't know who we are by now, which you should, I am Lena, and I graduated with my MSW in social work, so got my degree in that, and I'm basically just that's my passion, just to help people, to really hold space for people. I am a mother, I am a wife, I am a daughter. I'm just a human. I'm a human going through this human experience the same way that everybody else is. I'm no better than anybody, and I am a imperfectly perfect person with a lot of flaws. So just know that I am you.
That's
You are
beautiful.
me.
That's what I was gonna say.
Haha.
Goddamn. No,
A
just kidding.
friend. I am a friend. I try to be a good friend to
You
everybody. Thank you
know,
for the reminder, Jen.
well,
Love you, Roxanne.
uh, she's great. You're a lot of things, Lena, but that's just to sum it up really quick. But I will say I'm a photographer. My name's Christine Cruz. I'm a photographer. I do visual arts. And also I am a huge fan of the John Wick series. I love Keanu, and I feel like if he was my friend right now, he'd be totally agreeing with everything that we have
Oh,
on
he's
our
dope. He's
live
dope.
whatever. So yeah, I mean I'm also a mother, Puerto Rican, Spanish, all that junk, you know. And I'm grateful, I'm a huge fan of taking care of yourself and your mental health, and that's the reason why we started this little Instagram live check-in. So we're gonna just state the intentions. And then again, this is a safe place. Yes, Keanu.
Hey,
Yes.
Lauren.
uh,
Oh, look at Jess.
hey,
Hey,
what's up,
Jess.
Jess? But just so everybody knows and is aware, this is judgment free. This is a safe place. Just to be reminded. Um, Honestly, we're not recording the comments, so you could really say whatever
Yeah.
the hell you want to say.
Did
And
you
nobody will
record
know
this
again,
though?
except for us. Okay, so I can't
No,
record
no,
it. It
not
won't
the
record the
comments. Are you
sound.
recording this to put
So
on?
yeah, I have it
Okay.
recorded
Okay.
after what I do, but I got it. So we're gonna record it. We'll put it on the YouTube channel. But why don't you state your intentions, and then I'll
Okay.
state mine, and then we'll get right
So,
into it.
basically, as you guys know, thank you for tuning in. Super, super grateful. Um, This one is a heavy topic. It's on forgiveness. Forgiveness is a really difficult thing for a lot of people, and it requires practice. It's not easy to forgive people. It's not easy to come out of your comfort zone. It's not easy to be vulnerable, to be gullible. But forgiveness is literally the medicine that allows you to move on and carry on with your life. So my intention is, the purpose of this topic is just to get you to see that you you can hold yourself back from a lot of things if you do not apply forgiveness within yourself and for others. It's important to forgive yourself before anything, because I feel like just forgiveness will not allow you to grow. It won't allow you to be a person. It won't allow you to let go of certain things. You continue to carry it in your life, and it creates more problems until it hits a point where you have no control of it. And you could have, you know, went back and possibly forgiven something that could have been worked on. So I think that the intention is that forgiveness is necessary for your growth in life and your growth in relationships, whether it be family, friends, co-workers. So forgiveness is a big thing for.
That's beautiful. I think the important thing to remember about forgiveness is that you're going in your life, because we're not perfect, you're going to need forgiveness as well in some point in your life, because you're not going to go through your entire life treating everybody like, great. Sometimes you're going to have your days, sometimes you're going to have your moments, or you're going to, so you're going to need forgiveness. So it's important to forgive others so that you can also receive, just like you were saying. So I think this is such a great topic. There's a lot I think we want to say for this topic, but first I think we should just
The
check
check-ins.
in, do a little
So
check
one, two,
in,
three, four,
little
fives.
checky check. One,
Yeah.
five,
So
wisdom.
if you guys are not, you're gonna read it. You want to read it? Yeah. If you guys are not familiar
Okay.
with the one, two, three,
How are
four,
you?
fives, it's basically we do a quick check-in to see how you're feeling currently at this very moment, and then we'll do a check-in at the end. So hit them with the fives.
So the one is not good. So if you're a one, that means you're not good right
Put it in
now.
the comment
If
boxes
you're a
how you're feeling.
yeah, yep. Two is could be better. 3 is I'm open to receive as well as release. 4 is good, and 5 is amazing. I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna put a 3. I was a 2 last one. Last episode, it was bad. It was really bad. I think
Yeah.
that's why I cried. It was horrible. This one I'm doing. I think I released a lot of what I needed to. I think now that we're talking
2s,
about
4s.
forgiveness,
Okay.
I think
2,
that's yeah. This
4s.
everybody's doing
Shneha,
good. Yeah.
boss trainer, Wendy. Boss trainer.
We got.
Love you,
Oh,
girl.
sorry.
Sorry, having a moment. I think this is also like we mentioned before. Oh, my girl Nimuska. Sanya.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
Forgive.
Yes, forgiveness is self-care. You have to
Amazing.
do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Holding on to stuff is like drinking poison.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, girl.
Yes. That's a great
I
way. I
love
want to
that.
quote that.
Yep.
That's great.
That's
That
true.
was
It's
great.
toxic to yourself.
Great.
Just like
Uh,
toxic habits like you talked about on the last episode, that forgiveness plays a part in toxic habits.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
4s. We got
Absolutely.
some 4s, so some people are feeling pretty good. Yep.
That's
I
awesome.
honestly would have put
Yeah.
I
That's awesome.
I wanted to put a 1 because I don't feel good, but I am working on it every day. So I could be better
Yeah.
because of that, because
Okay.
I did. I put
Miss
2.
Lena,
I put 2. I put
you
2.
got
I did.
okay. All right. Just if anybody's tuning in, just putting in how you're feeling today. 1, not good. 2, could be better. 3, I'm
Love
open to
y'all.
receive.
Hey,
4, good.
Elise.
5. Um, so the first thing I think we should do is define, what
Yeah.
forgiveness is, right?
Yes.
So let's just go right into it.
Want me to
You can.
do it? Okay, so the definition of
Yeah.
forgiveness is the action or process of forgiving or being forgiven. So same thing like we said, forgiving self, forgiving others, a conscious and deliberate decision to release feelings or resentment or vengeance towards a person or group who has harmed you, regardless of whether they actually deserve your forgiveness. I think that is important.
Yeah.
Just even that comment of who do we forgive, why do we forgive them, and if they're actually deserving of it. Because at the end of the day, honestly,
Yeah.
everybody deserves forgiveness. Everybody. I'm learning that myself.
Yeah.
Everybody deserves forgiveness, no matter what. Because if you don't forgive, you are the one that gets affected.
Yeah. Usually it's you suffer. Also, I'm a big fan of karma, and to me, karma is not like a thing. Like it's actually just people, not changing and not being self-aware. And because they aren't, like karma will find a way to, give them what they kind of deserve. And to me, I really feel like as soon as you let go of that vengeance feeling, that like I'm so
Yeah.
angry that I want harm on this person, or if it gets to that point, like I mean I've had those feelings before, just being real. So it is important that that's a toxic
Yeah.
trait. That's not a good thing. So it's important to, forgive that person, which is something I think we should talk about first, is forgiving others before we talk about forgiving ourselves, because I feel like
Yeah.
that might be a little
Yeah.
more. But yeah, so let's go to the 3 types
Yeah,
of
so
forgiveness.
we did some research and found 3 different types of forgiveness. So the first one is, well, there's 3 of them. So there's exoneration, forbearance, and release. So we'll basically break these 3 down in a strategic manner, and then we'll kind of just elaborate more on
Yeah,
forgiveness by just kind of like tapping into our own personal experiences. And you guys are more than welcome to share in the comments your own experiences in forgiveness. So
Right.
If you want, you can start with the exoneration, Cece.
Sure. It says wiping slate clear and restoring relationships to the full state of innocence it had before the harmful action took place. Um, do you want to just
Yeah,
let's stop and go through all of them real
yeah.
quick because I think that's a lot
So
there. So
yeah, so basically
yeah,
like
go ahead.
wiping the slate clear and restoring the relationship to the full state it had before. So trying to forgive the person and completely wiping the slate and acting like it never happened, let's move on. We all know that when we do that, it's almost like a forgive but never forget. It will still linger, but you have to fully remove it from your thoughts, or it will continue to creep back. And then what's the point
Yeah,
of giving forgiveness if you're still going to hold that grudge, right?
right. I think a lot of the times too, it's like we're still so angry, and I think anger really has a whole different a theme that we could talk about, but they really do go hand in hand with forgiveness. It's like you have to release that anger in order to wipe that slate clean, to restart, to kind of figure out a new way. And sometimes you'll either forgive that person and never talk to them again, or sometimes you forgive them and you
Yeah,
still depending on what it is. But it's a lot harder than we're saying it, because I know it's a lot easier to just say, oh, just have to wipe this and then don't think about it anymore.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it's definitely hard. It's, but the more thought and the more you dwell on something, the more you're gonna have a hard time
yeah,
letting it go. So
yeah,
it's just facts, like the more you're harping on something, the more you're just like, all you can think about is the situation. It really harms that your self care, because you can't really move on. There's no, it's just like you're
yeah.
so stuck in the past. um and I honestly could relate to this in so many different parts of my life, where I literally had, and when you're in survival mode, you have to kind of like think like this sometimes.
Yeah.
You think the opposite, at least, so you
Um,
could answer the next
I think also to
question.
add to that, I think also we don't realize that we can forgive in silence. It doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, I got to
Yes.
see this person. I'm too freaked out about it. I'm building up all this anxiety. You can forgive people from afar. You can forgive them in silence, forgive them in your heart,
Right.
forgive them, send them well wishes, send them prayers, and forgive them in silence. It doesn't need to be spoken about. I,
That is so true. Because I really feel like there was a time where I had to do that. Because I was just so angry still, but I knew like that this person was toxic
yeah,
maybe at this time, but me different now, and they were trying to seek their forgiveness from me. And I was just so angry at them that I couldn't even give it to them. But then after time, I was
yeah,
like, what am I still holding on to this for? Like, we're living,
yeah.
like, it doesn't matter anymore. So really, it's just knowing that it's like you have to just let it
And
go and
time,
just accept,
like just what you said,
you know.
time plays such a crucial part in forgiveness. You don't necessarily have to forgive somebody right away. It might take some time. But
Yeah.
try to make it actually happen, because like we said, it will benefit you from moving on. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, yeah. So the other part of the exoneration was accident. So no fault can be assigned here. So who's to blame, right? Was it your fault? Was it my fault? We can continue to go back and forth and back and forth.
Or
I think
maybe
it
it was
was your
clearly
fault,
their
Cece,
fault.
actually. Yeah, I think this one was you're gonna have to take this one.
Yeah.
Take the L on this one.
I do feel like
Yeah,
that is so huge, because we, as humans, as our nature, we have a habit of placing blame and not taking responsibility
Right.
for some of it. I'm not saying all of it, but like there's some responsibility that you need to take. Whether it's maybe not the action that was done to
Yeah.
you, but maybe how you reacted. There's always something you can learn from each, experience that you do have. So, accident, you can't blame the other person, and
You
you
can't be
can't
the
also
innocent
blame and
bystander also.
blame it all.
So, right, right.
Right.
Um,
So just being more
self-aware, yeah, being
go ahead.
more self-aware for sure. Um, okay, so another part is not being aware of the hurt that's being inflicted. So you may do something and you're not aware of what you're doing and how that person is going to react to it or how they're going to feel about it. So, you know,
Yeah.
we can't say 100% we know how people are, how they're going to feel. Something that I might say might even be a joke. And somebody might take it differently.
Yeah.
So it's important to use your words wisely. Use your words because your words can hurt
Yeah.
somebody. So it's ideal that you really think about what you're going to say before you say it, because sometimes you can't come back from words. You can't.
Yeah.
Um,
No.
you want to read the other one? Hey, Dan. Hey, Melinda.
Uh, there's a lot of people here.
Yeah,
Everybody's coming in on the night
yeah.
shift here. I feel like
Hey,
moving more of the night.
Donna.
Uh, so what was
Uh,
the next one? Is not
the
aware
next
of
one, person
of
who hurts you.
hurt being person who hurts you, takes responsibility, apologizes, and asks for forgiveness. Gives assurance that harm will not happen again.
That basically just speaks for itself. The person just owns up, takes responsibility, man's up, woman's up, and assures you that it won't happen again. Sometimes when we ask for forgiveness and we apologize and the person forgives us and we say will never happen again, sometimes we fuck up again. We're only human. We're
Yeah.
not perfect. And we need to not hold that over a person's head so much. I've done that so many times. I'm learning. I am learning every day, no matter how old I am. I'm learning every day about that. Just knowing that I'm just human. I make mistakes. I fuck up, and I'm just learning as I go. You know?
I think it's also important to yes, we fuck up, but also like if it keeps happening, like get the help you need, because sometimes it's really a deeper issue within yourself that why you keep doing the same things that you do, and
Yeah.
that's something that you really need to
Yeah.
unpack. Um, so like definitely keep looking inwards to know, like, am I did I do something wrong? Should I ask for forgiveness? Like, where should we do with that, and then give it a good idea of like make the other person feel like you actually care by
Right.
taking
Right.
accountability for your
Accountability
actions.
is like
Really
the key, because
the key.
you have to just be vulnerable, and you have to acknowledge what you did wrong rather than pointing the finger like you did this. But it's like, okay, you did this, but how am I acting? What is my action towards what you did and what you're doing? So I think that's important, because if a person does something and then you go and do something, nobody's winning here. And it's not to win, but it's just like, where will the common ground like reach? When will you reach a commonality of, okay, you did this, I did this, let's build and let's grow and let's work on this and let's move on. If you don't move on, you just
Yeah,
harp on
I think it's
the
a
same
lot.
things, and
Yeah,
that's my life. That's my life currently.
that's a good one. Becoming aware of your triggers, like forgiveness doesn't mean like it means that you have to be with the person. It could mean something opposite. So it's like you really have to, every situation is different, and you really
Right.
have to kind of gauge what that is. And these people that you know that you're having this problem? What if it's them, or what if it's you? It doesn't, you know, not to place blame on anyone, but recognizing a toxic person, just like our last episode,
Yeah.
is important, because constantly having to
Yeah.
forgive somebody, you know, it's like, you know, like this is a toxic person, like I need to
Yeah.
reevaluate my relationship
Just like
with
Nikki
them.
said too. She said
um and it,
becoming aware of your triggers. So what triggered you? Right. All your triggers.
yeah, right,
Um,
right.
so how about let's
uh
dip into the benefits. The essential to accept the apology, right? So accepting the apology and forgiving, you and the person will feel better. So same thing as we've been saying. If you forgive, you feel better, the person feels better. Acknowledge what was done, talk about it, communicate about it, and work on it, right? Rebuild. Not offering
mhm.
forgiveness would be harmful to yourself. So if you don't accept the forgiveness, I mean, if you don't accept the apology and you're not able to forgive, again, it's harmful to you, and it will continue to.
So also
Uh-huh.
give yourself some time, because I've been there, not to rush your process of forgiveness, but sometimes the thing that happened might be very uh like I've just had some crazy shit happen to me in my life, and I know it's not always it's not my first reaction isn't to forgive, you know, it's really just I have to figure out and sort that out first. um and not take too long on
Yeah,
it, like, which is what you mean. But also don't rush it either, because it, to me, it's not going to be as genuine. You don't want to, and it
yeah,
won't, it'll still be there, is what I'm trying to say. If you have to really accept and try to wipe the slate clean before
right,
you
right.
forgive somebody, you know what I mean? That has to be there before you forgive somebody, because if you don't,
Yep,
you can't get to the benefits of being, you know, of forgiving,
right,
or and
right.
being forgiven. So just know it is hard. It's not easy to forgive people, and I know we need to
Yeah,
make sure we all understand, like, it's
that's just like what
um but
Nikki just said. The hardest part is forgiving
right,
yourself. I think that yeah,
yeah,
the hardest part is forgiving yourself, because I'm currently like going through all these shifts in life right now, and I'm at a place where I'm not happy with myself at all. At all, at all. Like
yeah,
I'm ashamed of myself. I'm using these words. I'm feeling like I let myself down. I did all these things that I, feel bad for. I feel shamed. I feel like, how did I get to this point? Um, and how can I look forward and think that somebody's going to forgive me if I can't even forgive myself? So the hardest part is forgiving yourself. And that's what I'm doing. I'm doing my work.
yeah,
I'm trying to forgive myself. I'm trying to align myself back to me and, do all the work, practice, doing yoga, meditating, like all these things, sitting with yourself in silence and bringing yourself back to you, because you're no good for somebody. If somebody forgives you, great. But what about you? You have to dig deep within to forgive yourself. That's the hard part. And that's the work. And it's practice. It doesn't happen overnight. Um, that last one is the same thing we've been talking about. So let's jump into the second part of forgiveness, which is forbearance.
yeah,
So we'll start with the first one. Is so forbearance is basically the apology is not fully authentic, so it's a partial apology. So how can you forgive something that you feel and you know is a partial apology? So an example is blames you for the reason why the behavior occurred in the first place, right? So it's like the forgive but don't forget. Reflecting on the what
yeah,
part you played in the situation. Um, so it's to say that somebody just half-ass apologizes. So how can you forgive them? Do you half-ass forgive them? You know what I mean? Um, it's just like that's two half-asses make one ass, I guess. But we're not here for the ass. We're here for the forgiveness. So it's important that you apologize full, full on fully, because you do want to call the other person out on what they lacked on, but you also have to own up to what you lacked on. So when you ask for this forgiveness, you have to, I mean, when you ask for the apology, you have to 100% ask for the apology, receive the forgiveness, and then work on the reasons why, right? Without saying, I did this because you did that, this and that. Granted, yes, there was a reason why this situation stemmed. There's always a reason why, and sometimes the person apologizing is not the person that initiated the whole thing. Sometimes it's the other way around. The other person has to blame, but sometimes it gets shifted
Yeah.
where now the tables are turned, and it happens. It happens. You had the ball. I have the ball. Vice versa.
I think it happens because it's a
Diana.
combination of things getting built up time. So I feel like, of course, like sometimes it could start off as one person being the blame, and then obviously, like you said, it changes because that person that started it or whatever, or did it first or whatever it is, kind of like now trickled everything and triggered people, and now it's just all this
Right.
big hot mess of everybody's fucking up now because now we're just so angry at each other and bitter because we haven't actually forgiven each other. And it is hard with in different relationships. So this could be a partner, this could be a family
Yeah.
member, it could
Yeah.
be anybody really. So that's so true.
Yeah.
I think you really need to forgive, and not just don't forgive and just
Yeah.
not forgive and
Yeah,
forget.
because you have to
Really,
fully
it's really
do it.
that.
Just like this says here, it says, the time, how long does it take? It takes as long as it takes. You want Keanu in the video, don't you? I saw that.
I had to put
Oh, hi, Nifa. Hi, Nifa. Oh, Nini's here. Oh, sorry, I get distracted easily. Yeah, how long does the forgiveness take? How long does the forgiveness take? It takes as long as it takes. Sometimes it can be like, I fucked up, I apologize. The other person can be like, okay, I forgive you. Let's work on this. Let's go. Or it might be like, I apologize. And the person can be like, I forgive you, but this is going to take me some time. You have to respect the time.
or
Huh?
yeah, or they might
Yeah.
be friends ever or
Yeah.
whatever ever again, and that's too. I think that's something that that happens more than none because I feel like people don't really know how to set boundaries, so they automatically either just burn the bridge. You know what I mean? So it's because it's a
Yeah.
lot easier for them, instead of having to confront all the time and with whatever happens. So
Timing is
it's so hard.
everything, and forgiveness
This is
comes from the heart, and it comes when you're open to apology, and when you're open to receiving the apology, and then when you're forgiving. Period. Yeah.
yeah.
Um. Oh, a key thing here is forbearance can rise to exoneration, which was the first part, and full forgiveness. But when a person doesn't acknowledge their wrongs or apologize and they aren't sincere, this goes into the third part of forgiveness, which is release. Um, Read the release, Cece.
Okay. I think I can see understand the one. Does
Oh, it does
not.
not
What does that
exonerate.
say? Exonerate. Sorry, that
Sorry,
does not look
this
like
is
an
my
E to me.
chicken
It looks like a
scratch.
G. Oh, no, no, it's great. Does not exonerate the offended nor require
So
forbearance.
releasing does not exonerate the offender nor require the forbearance. So each part of forgiveness plays a role into each part, you know? Um, so
Yeah.
release also So continue, my love, my little friend.
Let go.
Let
Let
it
go. Let go
go.
of the burden.
Yes. Let go of the burden. The release lets go of the burden, lets go of the things that have happened to you. Release allows you to let go of the burden, which they call the silent tax. So the silent tax basically it eats away at your chance for happiness, right? Um, if you don't release, you allow
Does.
those who have harmed you to live rent free in your mind, reliving the pain they caused. Rent free. So if you do
Yeah.
not release, if you don't release, you allow these people to live rent free. And rent is very expensive now, my friends. Don't let people live in your fucking space rent free. Okay? Okay.
Yeah. It takes like such a big toll, especially if you're like me and I'm like an overthinker, I have anxiety, all this stuff. Any type of drama I have, I don't have much drama because I've done a really good job of eliminating a lot of toxic people in my life. But when it does happen, I'm just like I tend to dwell on it a little too much, and it does take
Yeah.
over. It takes over your mind, and it prevents you from doing other things. Like you're just like, oh, why am I having such a bad? Or if you have one bad day, it piles
Yeah.
on to your bad day. That happened maybe like years ago, and that you
Oh
still
yeah.
have not even gotten over because you refused. Um, Stuff like that really does, hurt you, and it doesn't
Yeah.
help you at all. But going,
Basically, release
I think that was
liberates you even when forgiveness, exoneration, and forbearance are not possible. So if you cannot do these other parts of forgiveness, release relieves all of that. So release liberates you even when forgiveness, exoneration, and forbearance are not possible. You have to release those feelings, those internal feelings that don't allow you to move forward. I like that this says, when you hold on to pain, you are the one who pays the price double. Um, I
yeah.
I like this part, the way it just says, when you hold on to pain, you're not the one who, you're the one that pays double. Because it's an example of, I like to call it trauma monsters. I gave it a name. It's called trauma monsters because a
I
lot of
like
people use the word like my demons won't let me live, my demons, I have these demons controlling me, and it's the dark place, it's the dark thing. I like to call it trauma monsters because
my
ew.
demons. You like
That
this person?
looks like me.
I scold
Holy
her
crap.
over here.
Check
That's why.
Cece out for her creativity. um, so trauma monsters
Sorry.
to me, uh, they are the things that don't let us move forward in life. I'm gonna get a little personal with this one, and explain that, because trauma comes in all kinds of forms, right? We have trauma from our past. We have trauma in past relationships. We have childhood trauma. We have so many traumas that uh, we put in this corner of our corner pocket inside of us, right? And as we get older and as time passes, you think that you moved on from these things, and they're inside of you. The trauma monsters are inside of you, and they don't allow you to breathe. They don't allow you to live. You can have a great moment in life, and all of a sudden, in in a blink of an eye, it can spiral, because you have these things that are inside of you that don't allow you to process uh as a human. It doesn't allow you to continue on just being happy. Something happens. There's some kind of trigger that pulls you back constantly. I have so many trauma monsters because I haven't allowed myself to forgive, right? I haven't allowed myself to let go. I'm working on it. It takes time. But if I don't let these things go, in my subconscious somewhere, it lingers. It eats at me and it lingers, right? Um, I am I am a victim of childhood abuse, right? As a child, I was abused. Um, and as a child, I didn't know that that abuse would affect me my whole fucking life. That just stayed inside of me. You know, as a child, you don't know what these things will do to you as an adult. So I went through life just carrying on, doing all these things, and there were points in my life where I would get really drunk, wasted, and this trauma would come out like verbally. I would say these traumas. Yet it's like something that happened to me when I was so small. I remember it, but I can't remember my childhood because I tried to almost wipe that out. So this trauma dragged on in me because it's like, how can I forgive somebody that I don't even know where they are in this world or whatever the case is? So it's eating at me, eating at me, eating at me, along with a lot of other traumas that I have. I have a whole list. But when I found out that my abuser died years ago, I was almost angry. I was angry because I could not tell this person, like, you fucked me up. Like, I went through life and I'm still going through life, like, with a trauma that's inside of me that lingers, and you fucked me up and I didn't get to tell you because now you're fucking dead. Meanwhile, I also thought, good, I'm glad you fucking died, right? So
Right.
it was like a
Yeah.
mental mind fuck of, okay, great, you're dead. But it was also like I didn't get a chance to say in my mind, I forgive you, you know, whatever the case is. I'm trying to do that now, even at my age, so I can move forward. You know, it's something,
Right.
even if it's something that
Yeah.
happened a long time ago. So your trauma monsters are there, and you have to process them. You have to allow yourself to talk to your trauma monsters and
Yeah.
allow them in, talk to them, tell them, yo, I'm good. I've dealt with this. You've affected me for so long. Here you are. Here I am. Shake that motherfucking monster's hand and tell him.
Then I'm picturing like them turning into stuffed animals
I'm
after.
picturing them with boxing gloves, and I'm with boxing gloves. Like, let's go, bro. Like,
Yeah.
right?
I like a boss fight.
But if you
Yeah.
don't face your trauma monsters will win. Your trauma monsters are going to continuously take over your life. So be strong enough, find courage, love yourself, nurture yourself, and fight back so that you can fucking continue on life and live trauma monster free or as clearly as possible, because it shows up. Roxanne just said childhood trauma shows up in your adult relationships 1 billion%, 1 billion%.
Oh,
So
yeah.
whether you're a child, whether you experience traumas now, they show up in all kinds of parts of your life. So it's important that you sit with the trauma monsters and you slowly forgive your trauma monsters and you slowly have them exit your life.
I am totally gonna
Can
make
you
a trauma
please do
monster
that?
now
Please.
out of cold.
I love that.
Um, it is honestly like the best way to describe. I feel like what happens inside of us, because it is like a monster. It's like it's such a heavy, crazy feeling, that takes over, when we still have lingering things that we need
Yeah.
to, let go
And
of.
don't be
So,
and don't be
and just
embarrassed.
to go,
Like, I used to be embarrassed. I used to
Right.
never be able
Yeah.
to say that. I mean, I'm saying that on a fucking live. It's like mind blowing for me, but it's like
Right. Yeah.
I have to say these things in order to move on from them, in order to show you guys that I'm human too. And I've gone through shit. And you see me laughing and you see me smiling and I'm trying to support you and I'm trying to be a good friend. But I have my own shit that I deal with too, you know? And it's important that we talk about it. And it's important that you don't tuck it away. Talk about it, find somebody to talk about it with, and release it, because holding on to it is only causing you harm. And at the end of the day, the person that caused you that trauma goes on with life and doesn't give two shits about you while you're suffering.
It also leads you to, you know, it makes you depressed because that person, like, and then also social media, I know, doesn't help too. So it's like you're seeing maybe that
Right.
person live a full life or completely changed. Meanwhile, they they completely
Yeah.
treated you like a piece of shit, you know, and now a completely different person. And that's sometimes hard to accept, like you were saying, is like, you know, it's hard
Yeah.
to just accept that. So when you do, your depression does get, you know, you don't get as depressed because this is the stuff that you were working through. Your self-esteem goes up. I feel like there's so many
Yeah.
positive things when you reach a level where you can forgive and be forgiven. And I feel like right now I'm learning to do that, like just like you are, Lena, you know. So it's like it's a constant like understanding that I have to be forgiving, because
Yeah.
you know I need forgiveness also. So it's
Yeah.
just like, you know,
Forgive those trauma monsters. Just do it.
I do have to say, like, you know, forgiving yourself is the biggest thing. And you know, maybe you can just off script right now. What do you think the top maybe like three things is to
Mm.
forgive yourself? What would you say? Like how would you go about forgiving yourself
Um,
first? Like, you know?
the first thing is being kind to yourself. That's number one. You have to be
Right.
kind to yourself. You can't belittle yourself. Don't talk down on yourself. The same way where I said, like, you know, recently in these past weeks, I have been um, saying bad words to myself. I've been saying, how dare you? I'm ashamed of you. I'm
Yeah.
embarrassed for you. You're not worthy. All of these things. So the first thing would um, be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself and reverse that and just talk to yourself and give yourself compassion and empathy, but compassion, and say to yourself
Uh-huh.
more like, I fucked up, but I'm willing to work on it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to yourself. I could have made a better
Yeah.
choice, you know?
Or or I'm sorry for, and forgive your intuition, because sometimes, you
Yeah.
know, we let ourselves down. And it's that's the thing that I feel like is the hardest, you know. There's one thing, it's like to engage in the present instead of the past. And I think to forgive yourself, you really have to really start understanding that this is right now present. What you experienced was in the past. So as soon as you start understanding and engaging with your present self and everything that's happening around you, I feel like, and you leave
Yeah.
that past and behind, you really can start to move forward.
Uh,
And you have something else?
yes, Hanifa said, I
I'm putting
know it's
you on
like
the spot.
me.
Sorry.
My friend Hanifa said, give yourself
I know.
grace. Yes, very important to
Yeah.
give yourself
Yeah.
grace. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Second thing I would say is um doing the work. Doing the work. You
Yeah.
know, you have to forgive yourself before anybody else can forgive you. So do the work. You have to do the work internally. Work on yourself. What was the
Right.
causes? What are the reasons why you feel like you're undeserving, or the reasons why you want somebody to forgive you, right? Or would like someone to forgive you. So
Yeah.
work on yourself from the inside out. The third thing would be uh hmm uh let's see, um talk to people. Yeah. um Find good support. Don't just share what you're experiencing
Yeah.
with just anybody. If you know you have a friend and they're a good friend, great, but you know this person passes judgment, etc., 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 maybe that's not the right person to talk to. So find somebody that you actually really genuinely trust, a friend, a mentor, a therapist, uh, uh, a family member, whatever it is. Find somebody that you can talk to, because that is really important for the process. You holding it in, or you just kind of like doing the work yourself, is good, but it's not great. You also need an outlet and you need support. Everybody needs support. You can't always just feel like, I got this, I'm going to do this myself. Journaling, like Nikki said, 100%. Journal about it, write about it. Sit down with yourself and write about it. What were the causes? What can you do better? What changes can you make?
Also, what are the
Yes.
silver linings of this? I always feel like in everything, every experience you go through, whether whatever side you are experiencing it from, there's always a silver lining, that something you can learn. You,
So
sorry, my battery
do not
died,
die
or
on
that can
me.
help. You know, I
Therapy, yes,
it's like,
therapy.
but he's definitely helpful. Knowing, knowing that we're all human and we learn from mistakes, like knowing that you can always grow from a mistake. It doesn't mean it's a make
Yeah.
or break. Like, you can change. Knowing that you can change, knowing that you can forgive yourself, knowing that, like, this is a growing moment. I think is something to always keep in mind when you're experiencing something like, that you have to be forgiven
Yes.
for or forgive.
Alexa said,
Um,
Sneha, she said, what can I learn from this? Right. Process that.
yes,
Like
that's the
the situation,
right,
what happened,
right.
what can I learn from this so that I don't make that mistake again? What can I learn from this that I can apply into that relationship or that friendship or that whatever it is? So what can I learn from this? Like, you have to take something away from it, take something away from it so that you better yourself.
That's not bad. Yeah, like something more of a positive aspect of it, where you're not just like, well, he did this or she did this and that person did that, or I did this and they did this. It should just
Yeah.
be like, well, what did you learn from it? That is a really, I think, big thing that I've learned, to not just hold so much of, like, it's my fault, their fault, like we talked about, but knowing, like, well, what
Mhm.
happened
Mhm.
and why, where did that come from? Why did it stem there? Why did they have to say that, or
Where
do that? Why did I
it
do
has to
that?
it has to have a root.
So just
Like,
really,
where did this grow from? It's like a
yes,
tree. Like, where
yeah,
it's a root. Where did
monster,
these trauma monsters
yeah,
under this root come from? Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
exactly.
Um.
I have some forgiveness affirmations that I printed out, so
Okay.
I'm just going to read them really quick, that people can say to themselves, that I thought were really,
Yeah.
really good, that I am going to say
Yeah.
to myself when I need forgiveness. The first one, I am human. That's the first. This is affirmations for self forgiveness. The first one is, I am human. I acted in the best way I
In
was
that moment,
capable of
I like
in that
that.
moment. I That's because sometimes, like, we're just doing our best most of the time. So if that is just how you acted in that moment and that was the best you could do, even if it was wrong, just acknowledge that, like, that was the best you could do at that moment, and you're
Yeah.
gonna do better for the
100%.
next one. I have person. This is I have grown as a person. That is like the most self-forgiving, that you have to acknowledge
Yeah.
how much you do grow. Not acknowledging that you have grown from other situations is really hurts yourself, because it's like, not, you really not accepting that you
Yeah.
actually are doing work. You're actually doing the work
Right.
and forgive yourself. Um, is I am grateful for increased insight and opportunity to make a
Mm.
better choice from now on. So acknowledge that I fucked up, but from now on, I can now
Right.
make a better choice to go forward. I can now, rethink that next time I am presented in this situation, or there is something that happens, or the same
Yeah.
person does something again. Um, Making better choices,
Yeah.
and not the same,
Sometimes
mistakes that
you
you
have
have.
to hit
The next
sometimes you have to hit a
one is,
fucking wall so hard in order for you to actually
yeah,
snap back into it. Of course. Like exactly what you said. Like sometimes you just
yeah,
have to go through a certain point where you're just like, okay, I fucking get it. I get it now.
yeah. And the next one is, I accept this about myself. So
Yeah.
I accept that I did this. I accept that they did this. But mostly it's self forgiveness, but just accepting it, and then allowing
Yes.
yourself to find peace. So
Yeah.
allow myself
Yes.
to find peace. Um, and then the last one is, I forgive myself, and it's easy, but it's true. And these are all stuff that you should say to yourself. I'm gonna probably post this later, just to have some affirmations, to just be reminded, in times of feeling like, either you fucked
Yeah.
up, or someone
Can I
else did.
add some to that? Because yeah, what I
Yeah.
have also is pretty similar. So I forgive myself for my mistakes and I allow myself to grow, just like you said. I release my anger and my shame. You have to release your own um your own feelings of
Yeah.
self. I allow myself to start over and not judge myself for falling off track. We sometimes we're on the right path. We got this. We're on the right path. We're doing well, and sometimes we veer off a little bit. Sometimes we fall off track. Why can't I talk? We fall off track. So I allow myself to start over after I've fallen off track, and I am a good person that is worthy of healing. So you have to do the self-talk. I am a good person. I fucked up. I'm a good person. I made a mistake. Nobody's perfect. And I am worthy of healing. So I have to put in the work for myself in order for somebody else to put the other part, right? So those are great affirmations. I freaking love them. Um oh, yeah, no, you said that one. Yeah, those are good. Those are great.
Sorry.
I wanted to talk about let's talk about some benefits quickly of forgiveness. So some benefits are you'll build healthier relationships. You'll improve your mental health. You'll have less anxiety and uh, uh, less hostility. Fewer symptoms of depression.
Yeah.
Lowers your blood pressure. Builds stronger immune system.
Oh,
Improves
that's
your own self-esteem. So those are some of the benefits for forgiveness. Um, so some of the effects of holding on to the grudge. So what happens if you can't forgive and then you hold on to the grudge, right? So it brings anger and bitterness into new relationships. If something happened in your past and you can't let it go and you can't forgive, it affects you in the future and affects your other relationships to come. It's not just relationships with partners, it's work relationships, it's family relationships. This is all a mix of relationships. You can't enjoy the present moment
yeah.
and you're dwelling in the harm. Um, you're irritable, you're anxious, and you're depressed. You lose valuable time and connection with others. I think that's important because when you do hold on to grudges and you hold on to these traumas and you hold on to the things that will not allow you to move forward, you lose time with people that actually matter, and you lose time with people that have value to your life that can help you grow and you can grow together. So when you hold grudges, um, it's not healthy for you. So you got to try to work on that and try to let those grudges go. Um, so,
Absolutely.
so do you want to read the forgiveness takes practice part? Oh,
Where are
uh,
you?
after after the effects of holding on
But
to grudge.
hold on.
Okay.
I think you should do it because I lost the page.
I think it's page 3, maybe.
Sorry.
So forgiveness takes practice. Do it for yourself, like we said before. Do it for
That's
yourself
so true.
first. Acknowledge your emotions, recognize the hurt it has caused, and work on releasing the emotion. Forgive yourself, forgive the person, and the person in turn will forgive you, right? Release control and power that person has or had in your life. So forgiveness takes practice. Um, and you need the
Yes.
tools in order to
Yeah.
process that within. So if you cannot forgive, practice. So some certain things, other things for you, if you cannot forgive somebody, right? If you cannot forgive yourself, if you can't forgive somebody else. So if you cannot forgive, practice empathy. Try try seeing the situation the other way around. So put yourself in that person's shoes, right? So try empathy. If let's just say you were the one that fucked up and now you're asking for forgiveness. Try putting your foot in their shoes and turn it around and try to be empathetic to the situation, right? Ask self about circumstances that led to the person's behaviors. So ask yourself, why did I act this way? What led to this behavior? You know, it's not to put the blame, it's not to point fingers, you did this, I did that. It's more of like what led to it. There's always something that leads to something. And it's not to minimize your actions, it's more to say what happened, what was the cause of this to cause this. There's always
Right.
something prior to it that leads to that. You know what I mean? Um uh, uh yeah, putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, would you have acted the same way or can you relate to them? Reflecting on times when others have forgiven you. So it's important also, like, let's just say you fucked up and somebody else forgave you, right? But now tables are turned and now that person fucked up and you're like, nah, I don't want to forgive you. But reflect on the time where you asked for forgiveness from somebody else and what that felt like. That's important. I like that one, right? I saw your eyes in that one. You were like, that shit was good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just that to me. I feel like I can resonate with that for sure. Like, especially when you're in a relationship. I think anybody could really relate to that because sometimes you fuck up, sometimes they fuck up,
Right.
sometimes you fuck up and sometimes they. So it's just a matter of like being understanding, forgiving, yes, but also, depending on what they're doing, you really have to, both be putting in some kind of work towards, yourself and forgiving
Yeah.
yourself and the other person. And I think that's what it is to be in a relationship. It's constantly under being understanding and trying to find forgiveness in times where it might be needed.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know uh, I don't want to keep. It's already past 8, so I want to just like kind of. Do you want to end with we could
Um,
do a couple of things before we end, but I printed out that
oh,
last thing
oh,
you're
that's
reading. That's
why
why I
you're
don't
like, what
have
is she
it, so I
talking
don't know
about?
where you.
This is all our
I was
homework, guys.
like, what? Yeah.
I'll just
Yeah.
I'll add this last part, and it says forgiveness is a process. So you may need to revisit it over and over. You know, it's not just like, all right, I forgive you, let's move on.
Yeah.
You might have to revisit that. So allow yourself to do that and not hold it against somebody. Well, you forgave me now, like now you want to bring it up. It's like sometimes it's going to
Yeah.
get brought up over and over, and you have to revisit it with a clear head, a clear mind.
Or the other person's not putting in the work also, and actually making the same mistakes too, that could be another sign of like maybe you need to set a
Boundaries,
boundary maybe with that
yes.
person, or maybe if they're boundaries are so important. If you can't, because I feel like there's a couple, not, I don't have a lot of people in my life, but there's a couple of people in my life I know that it like, I have to forgive them, but it's really hard. You have to
Yeah.
set boundaries too, because I honestly
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
people
Boundaries,
just
spirit
don't get it.
daggers. That's a good one.
It is.
um,
um,
the question here
yeah,
also is, does forgiveness guarantee reconciliation? Right. So let's go back to what I had said before. If a person dies, forgiveness is still possible. So just like I spoke about before, if a person dies, you can still forgive them in order for you to move on, in order for you to grow. Let's just say somebody has a freaking stepdad or dad or whatever the case is that was abusive to them, physically, verbally, emotionally, whatever the case is. And the person dies and you carry on life like this motherfucker, died and I didn't even get to tell him how he treated me, how he made me feel. You got to sit that one out. The person's not here, but you got to sit it out, sit
yeah,
with yourself and forgive that person even if they're not here. Um and like you just said before, if the person you forgive doesn't change, it's not about the other person changing. Forgiveness will change your life by bringing you peace and happiness. So if they don't forgive you,
yes.
you have to accept it, but you have to, it's not about the other person changing. It's about you. It's about you. Um, let's go into some quotes. Quotes. All right.
Yeah,
So
wrap it up. Yep.
we got some quotes
You
for you
the quote.
guys. Just a few that we picked out. This one is: it's not an easy journey to get to a place where you forgive people, but it is such a powerful place because it frees you. Tyler Perry said that one. uh, I love Tyler Perry. Um, it's one of this. Another one is: it's one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself to forgive. Forgive everybody. Maya Angelou said that. And another one is: I believe forgiveness is the best form of love in any relationship. It takes a strong person to say they're sorry and an even stronger person to forgive. Yolanda Hadid said that.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. I love that one. Um, I mean, we
Uh,
got some people here now. Do you want to
does
just
anybody
say,
have
I don't
any
know.
comments they want to throw in there? Anything you want to release? Anything you can just write anything you want in the comments. Who maybe you want to forgive somebody right here in the comment box. I mean, listen, this is an outlet right here, so use it because we're here for it. We're here for it. Um,
So I'm just gonna just what we've learned is for at least like, forgiving yourself is accepting responsibility for your actions, feeling guilty without dwelling, amending your mistakes, and focusing on what you've learned and you grow from.
dealing
Is
with
there
your
anything else
trauma
you want to just
monsters.
sum up with your monsters? I think that's the
Ah,
most
I
important. I can't
forgive
wait. Yeah,
Keanu.
Keanu for was it because wait, why? I don't even want to get into it. I forgive Keanu. Oh,
Oh,
Keanu,
Keanu forgives you.
yeah, Keanu probably
You're
would forgive you
sick.
for
Oh my god. Um, Cece, do you know what dingleberries are?
oh god. Uh, is that from a movie though? Isn't that from a movie? Is this
It's an
something gross?
inside joke. Jordan's in the
Okay.
house.
Hey.
We also have
Um.
some resources and we do have some books. We're
Yeah.
just gonna put them after we close off with this. We'll put them in the Cece will create what she does and we'll have some resources and some books for you. We have a little bit of homework and it's small. I made it smaller this time. Why the hell did I come on in dingleberries? No dingleberries. You can blame
Oh my
Spirit Dagger
God.
for this one. Spirit Daggers. um, so the homework. Uh, okay, before the
Yeah,
homework,
what's the
we're
question?
going to go back to the how do we feel now, right? So let's go and hit it with the how do we feel now after having this conversation about forgiveness and connecting with different tools to use and ways that we can learn to forgive ourselves, forgive the people in our lives, try to rebuild, try to work on just living a healthier life, right? So, how do we feel now? Hit it with the fives. One is what the fuck is one? One is not good. Two is could be better. Three is I am open to receive as well as release. Four is good, and five is amazing. I'm going for a three,
I put mine
which is
in.
one better than what I started
Oh,
with.
okay. I'm grateful for that. I feel like a
4.5.
lot of
All
this
right,
is us
4.5. We'll
releasing.
take we'll take uh
Yeah.
we'll take some numbers like that. Fractions? Is that
Yes,
fractions?
we are all a work.
Four, be
Fraction.
patient. We are all a work in progress. Amen. Yes. Four, yes, Jordan. Yes, Jordan. Do I see a check mark next to Jordan's name? Oh, snap. Yes. That's all I'm gonna say. I know famous people. That's all I'm gonna say. Love you, Jordan. Three. Spirit Daggers is a
Hey,
three.
Jordan.
Okay. Dingleberry. Okay, that's how you feel, Dan Cruz. Got it. I'm dead.
God.
So oh, you should just bought it today. Yes, Queen. Yes. Much deserved. They should have gave you that shit for free, but whatever. Yeah, fuck that.
I know.
Whatever.
Yes.
So here's a little bit of
Um,
homework. Um,
oh
love you too, love you too. It's a simple homework. Write it when you log off or whatever. Journal about this topic today. Forgiveness. Journal about it. Write about it. Here's your homework. Pick three people that you forgive. You can even add yourself as the third person, the second, first person, whatever. Add it into the three. Three people that you forgive and why. So write that down. That's your homework. Pick three people you forgive and why. Send them well wishes from afar. Talk to yourself. Tune into yourself. Meditate. 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 I started meditating again. I feel so good when I meditate. I feel just like connected to myself. It's so important for you to connect to yourself. If nobody else got you, you got to have yourself. It's so important. So important.
that's so true. Yeah, I love you so much for just being so vulnerable. Thank you for just showing up and just being yourself. Like, like one of my favorite things
Yeah,
about
whatever,
this
whatever.
this whatever this is alive, be ourselves, and that you can just say like whatever you're feeling, and that we can keep topics to what we're going through in current time and real time, I should say. So it's so great to have you here, Lena. Thank you so
Of
much for your
course.
insight.
Of
Thank you so much
course.
for your wisdom. So much for being vulnerable and honest. um we love you. There's so many
I
people who
love
love
you
you.
too,
I love you.
Cece.
And I'm
I,
just
and
so
I love I love you because you are
um
such a genuine person. No, you really are. I'm so glad that I did not use this today, right now.
me
And I
too.
must tell
Me
you
too. I
that
know we're
I've
gonna
been
cry.
crying for days. Um, Today was the official first day that I did not cry fully at all. So that's growth, you
Wow.
know. You have to allow yourself to feel. You have to allow yourself to be vulnerable. You have to allow yourself to fall apart when you need to because it's important. When you hold too much shit in, it fucks with you up here. It really does. So, I love that you're so honest Cece, you're so vulnerable. You're so humble. You're literally one of my favorite people on this whole fucking planet. And there was a lot of people that tuned in tonight that are such amazing friends of mine and people. And it's important that we do this because we're not doing it for any other reason than to show up for ourselves and to show up for whoever shows up. If you tune in, we're here for you.
Yeah.
There's no paid gigs. There's no nothing. It's just coming from our hearts.
No.
You know, we're not fucking professionals. We're just talking from the heart.
No. Yeah. We're talking because we have, like all these traumas that we deal with on a daily basis because, everybody goes through their own shit. And so I think that's creating a community to talk about mental health is what we're doing. And even if 5 people show up, even if 2 people show up, we're still going to show up. We'll still be guys. We're going to do this every month. We did an extra one this month, but next month we'll
You
do
guys
3
got
1,
lucky
hopefully.
with 2, so.
But March, but tune in next month if you haven't seen, rewatch the episode if you missed anything. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for showing up and wanting to, even be here learning about forgiveness and how to forgive other people and ourselves.
Thank you for
So,
sharing shit, writing shit down. It's only 8 p.m. The night is young. Chop some onions and get your cry on. Yes, right. It's still early. It's Thursday. It's early. Go to your room. Go journal. Go fucking cry. Go light a candle. Go light some Palo Santo. Oh, thank you, Nikki. Oh, hey, Rena. Rena, my girl. Look at mine right here. Bam, bam, bam. We got it.
Smells so good.
You gotta set the mood. Look at this. You got my Florida water that Ash gave me.
I love you, Lavina.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Thank you. What else can we say? You want to read some of these real quick? Bendición. Somebody said bendición. Que Dios te bendiga. Thank you both for your vulnerability.
Yes.
Honesty and wisdom. Thank you for this. Of course, Hanifa, I love you. You're so amazing. You're such a great human. You know the deal. Do the work. Just Jess Brothersky. Thank you. All the hearts. Thank you.
Yeah.
Go do your homework. That's it. I love you guys. I love you, Cece, so much. Thank you. Bye, y'all. Good night. Do your homework. All right. Bye, y'all.